We know how isolating, exhausting, and sometimes lonely motherhood can be. Let's commiserate together.
Let's face it, our kids and mom life are a beautiful and mysterious new world to navigate, and we need someone to talk to about it.
Let us be your new BFFs. You never know you need it. Until now.
I'm Heather.
I'm Jess, and this is
Just Us Gals.
Mommy.
Welcome back to another episode of Just Us Gals. This week we're talking about a topic that has been a very huge part of my life, and I'm sure a big part of someone you know's life or you yourself. But the topic is infertility and how it comes in all different shapes and forms and journeys and paths and just the emotional part behind it all. And for me, for instance, that path for myself was I had Penny right off the bat, super easy, second try, pregnant, no problem. So I had no reason to think that I would have any issues.
You got pregnant really quick with Penny.
Very quick. It was one of those things where...
First month, I think.
It was the first month we actually
tried.
I looked into how to do it.
There you go.
You know, we talk about how the first time I was like, oh, don't you just do it and you can have a baby? And no. I knew there was you had to ovulate, but I was
how uneducated women are.
I know, it's insane. I was like, okay, so I just had my period, so about in between, I guess I'll try.
Yeah.
And it didn't work, so I was like, okay, maybe I need to look into this a bit more. So I actually tracked my cycle a little bit and then figured out when I would ovulate, essentially. And that worked. So that was fantastic. First pregnancy, easy, done, check. Started trying to have our second kid and negative pregnancy test. Dove even further into, started doing the ovulation strips, started the basal body temperature, doing every single thing to track it, anything I could try, and it was just negative. Went to the doctor, they tell you have to wait until it's been a year's worth of trying. And so then after a year, got referred to fertility. And basically I got some blood work done. And the only thing, everything seemed fine. My eggs were all there. Max, of course, there was no problem with all of his testing.
Maximilian.
Literal Max 900 million or whatever the hell it was. That jerk. But, yeah, it just basically, the only thing they came back with was some of my, I can't remember now, it was so long ago, but one of my hormone levels were lower, and they said that I could be, have what it's called, oh gosh, now I'm blanking on it, but I could technically be going through menopause earlier.
Like old eggs or something.
Yeah, but it's not, it's going to bug me so much I can't remember the name of it. But it's basically that my eggs weren't as good of quality as they once used to be.
How
it's diminishing.
Rude. How dare they?
Ovarian reserve. That's what it's called. Yeah. And I was like, which is all scary things to hear, because it's first of all, I'm like, menopause early. That sounds horrifying.
You were 31.
Yeah, I think I was 31, 32. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And I was like,
so
well,
that's
menopause.
Yeah,
I know. I'm not even a thought in my head.
Yeah, hopefully for at least another 10 years. What?
I know. And then in 10 years from now, it should be just perimenopause. Goodness gracious. But anyways, the one thing that I recommend now to people is they weren't able to exactly tell if that was the cause of my infertility because I had no previous blood work done to compare it to.
Shoot.
So they had no way of knowing that if, let's say, my levels were dropping at a rate like this or at a rate like this.
Oh, okay.
So it was just a guessing game. If you're listening, if my levels were dropping quickly or
right.
I'm doing actions on the screen. But
if you're listening, go to our YouTube and see what Heather's doing.
You can see what I'm doing. But yeah, there was no base. So there was no comparison of within 2 years or 3 years since your last, testing was done, this number has dropped drastically, which means that, yeah.
Oops, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, which means that this is likely early menopause, or this is something is really wrong here for this hormone to be so off.
I was just going to say, I'm going to pause you right there and say maybe that's a good tip for our listener if you are going to start trying, is get your blood work done before you even want to try, right? And see where you're
honestly, my tip is if you can ask your doctor to put you through if you plan on having kids at any point, go get those baseline blood work tests done, just so that you have that comparison. So if you're infertile for, if you have no luck for, so I guess I shouldn't use the word infertile, but if you're having issues conceiving, you at least have those base results to look back on and try and figure out what's going on. So that was kind of frustrating. So I did the IUI. We did 3 tries, and they said that if it didn't work, then IVF would be the next choice for me. But I was not going to do IVF because we had 1 kid, and I know the amount of time it took for me to get into the fertility clinic, and I just, part of me felt guilty taking someone's spot of doing IVF and all that when I had a kid on my own. And I
that's
wanted,
so sweet of you.
It's just like, and I didn't, honestly, the mental toll this whole thing takes on you, it was just like, I was ready to almost move on from that chapter of just like the constant negative tests and IUI not working and this not working. And honestly, Max and I had reached a point where he had like grieved that second child and what our family looked like. We had to completely like picture what life would be with just the 3 of us. And I'd reached a point where I was okay with that. And I was like, okay, you know what? Penny's getting older. We're going to be able to start doing a bunch of things now that we wouldn't be able to do if we started back at square one with a baby and blah, blah, blah. But sure enough, the 3rd IUI attempt, and it was also IUI, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's the same for everyone, you take a drug, I can't remember what it was, that helps your body release more eggs as well. So I was doing all that stuff, and I think it was like the night we were going out for my husband's birthday, and I was planning on having some drinks. And I was like, well, just on the very off chance that, because it was about that time where I would have figured out if I was pregnant or not with the IUI results, but I was honestly convinced it did not work. I was like, no, there's no chance. And so I took a test, and I was like, say what? And then I was in shock. And I'm kind of mad at myself that I had envisioned me finding out I was pregnant with my second kid to be like the most exciting thing after everything I've been through. But I had moved on almost. And so now I had to like reset my thinking back to like, recalibrate. Shit. Yeah. And I was in complete shock. I don't think I wish I could go back in time and just be like so excited for me. But I was
Heather, the way you told me you were pregnant with Chloe was right before your Victoria trip. It was the most nonchalant text I've ever received.
What did I do?
You said something like, I'm off to Victoria and I'm pregnant, or something like, oh, I'm pregnant and I'm off to Victoria. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. You knew a bit about my struggles.
I did, and you kept me updated. So that's why when you just sent that text, I was expecting something a little bit more. Yeah. Which in hindsight, you kind of wish you did celebrate that more. I could have been more excited. Yeah. But I get it. Like,
yeah, it was a freaking roller coaster of emotions, the whole thing. And so it was just like, I feel like I had no emotion in me left at that point. I know I feel like I just like shut that all off.
Yeah.
And which is also wasn't necessarily the greatest thing for my relationship with my husband. Because
well, if you go back to our episode, I had a baby and lost my friends, you do dive deep into that a little bit and how this infertility took a toll on your relationship. So that's another layer of complexity.
How to navigate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just takes a toll on everything in your life. So,
well, and now Chloe is what, 2.5?
2.5.
2.5.
And people ask if I would want to have a 3rd, and I don't even want to try because I will not put myself through that again. And I'm very happy with my 2 girls. That's all I want.
I love being a girl mom.
Me too.
I love being a girl mom.
They're so sweet.
Well,
I don't know any different, but
I know, same. We would love boys just as much, but just we both have 2 girls, and we're here for it.
Yeah. And so on this topic of infertility, I think it's important to hear other people's stories. So that's kind of what we've set up for this episode this week. We've got 2 lovely women who are joining us. It's your sister-in-law, correct?
Yes. So they will be joining us separately so we can get the full scope of their stories. But one is a longtime friend and influencer, blogger, Linda Hoang. And then the other one is my sister-in-law, Ruth. I'm another auntie. He's now 6 months. When we recorded this, I think he was 4.5 months. But yeah, they're they're both thriving. Linda's little boy, Miracle Boy, is 2.5. Rowan is now 6 months old, and it's just like, it was refreshing to hear what they had to say. And we will also be talking about how people in their lives, like friends and family, can support somebody going through infertility.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, like you said, it's important to hear other people's stories and their takes on it. And yeah, Heather, thank you for opening up, because I know that's not easy. Does it still feel as hard reliving it?
Yeah, I honestly don't think about it that much if I don't have to. I mean, obviously I'm super fortunate that my end result is Chloe.
Yes.
And Linda is going to talk about this with her in hers too, but I also feel that when you do have that kid, it's like, it feels like that was one that was supposed to be for you.
Right.
So it's like, I always think to myself, everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
And for me, I look back on that journey more. I was like, that all happened so I could get Chloe specifically. So, and she's just the perfect little fit for our family. But but it is nice. I want to talk about it because hearing other people's stories when I was going through it made me feel so much less alone. And even when I was going through it at the beginning, if people asked me, I was pretty open about it. Like, yep, I'm having problems conceiving. Here's why it's not working, and all that. And I just, even talking about it just made me feel a little bit better. And sometimes people would meet it with, oh, me too, and this and that. And so it was like, oh, I just liked having that conversation and hearing from other people. So hopefully this can help anyone.
I feel like more people are going through infertility than not. You hear more often that people struggled getting pregnant than it happening right away.
I know. I know more people who have had to have help to get pregnant than happened. Mm-hmm. So, well, welcome to our world.
Yeah, welcome to our world. And with that being said, let's hear from Linda. Linda, welcome to Just Us Gals. So happy to have you one of the gals this week. How are you doing? How is parenting life for you with your little miracle baby?
Parenting life is really, really good. We love him. He's honestly the best. I feel like, I don't know if every parent says that about their kid, but I'm like, we literally got like the best.
If they don't, they should.
Yeah. At least pretend.
Yeah.
Is this, we'll get into your story in a little bit, but I know this is something that you've been wanting so long to be a parent. Is parent life at all what you were expecting, or is it different?
I think it is mostly what I was expecting. I think the first little bit, like immediately after we had him, I was in a little bit of a shock because it was such a adjustment to my...
You're really thrown into it.
My lifestyle, I guess. But now I think it's really like we've hit a really good groove.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what I would have expected. But yeah, that first sort of week or two after we had him, I was like, oh my God. what have we done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that first week.
Yeah.
We just talked to Tara, quad mom. She has quadruplets and a toddler, and she called it Groundhog Day because it's every day is the same, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you and those wake windows, you're like,
oh.
You're like, well,
I
when
know.
are they going to sleep next?
nursing and we have to do it all over
Yeah.
again.
It's hell.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so with that being said, then how is parenting treating you? Do you have a win or a loss this week?
It's good. Yeah, I think my win is that I feel like every week or two something changes, which is really exciting. 100%. There's always like a milestone or something like that. So we were going through very recently where he kept trying to run out into traffic. So I'm like, so
awesome.
That was bad. That would be not a win. But
No.
I think he's done. I think he's over it. So yeah, so
Safety.
we were walking and I was like, wait, look across, look to see if there's cars coming, and he waited, and so I was like, that's a huge win.
Huge
Traffic
win.
safety.
I was debating, it was a 2-week period, and I was like, do we have to get those leashes? You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't want to get the leashes, but I understand the leashes.
Okay, we talked about this in the last episode too. I swear every parent must have this thought. Pre-kids, you're like, leashes? Like,
Never.
oh my God, why? And then you have kids and you're like, I might get a leash.
I understand, yes. But
I understand it.
Yeah. But I think so the win is listening and obeying traffic and walking rules.
Honestly, that's a huge win. Good
It
for
is a
you.
big win.
I actually, when Parker was fresh too, when we took her to Disney World, and I got her a little Mickey Mouse backpack leash. I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like peace of mind,
too
right?
easy.
You probably
Yeah.
have peace of mind, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you end up using it?
You know what I did, but I didn't find that I, to be honest, really needed it.
Okay.
She's kept pretty close, and then she was in the stroller a lot of the time too. So,
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
My oldest could have used a leash. She was like, you'd set her down and she'd bolt, gone. But my youngest is so clingy to me. It's like opposites
She's like,
completely.
"No."
And that's Parker too. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. So Linda, so just a little background for the listener. You and I go way back. We went to journalism together. We went to NATE together since 2007. So full circle moment having you on the podcast. So happy to have you here.
Yeah.
So with all that longevity comes a little bit of knowledge with your story.
Yes.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys were trying to have Sweet Little Benjamin for 10 years. Can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was coming on the 10th year. So we say almost a decade. It basically was that we were trying to have him, and it was very shocking to, I think, me as like a planner type of person. And also, I think just as a woman who has grown up under like the healthcare system that we have and the education system that we have, where it's pretty drilled into us that like if you have sex, you will have a baby. You know, it's like that's what we grow up knowing.
It was almost a scare tactic.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it unless you want a baby. So we're like, okay, well, we'll wait, you know, until we want to have a baby. And then so the planner side of me was very much like, you know, oh, we've gotten married. Oh, we've had, you know, our kind of newlywed years. It's like, yeah, check. It was very like, and I'm sure this is relatable for people. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're checking off those adult life things. Now we're going to start trying, which means in 9 months.
Yeah.
And it literally was, we were like, wow, we have a wedding in like 8 months. We were like, oh, we'd like to do this in 7 months. Let's just wait, you know? And we was very like, as soon as we start trying, it's going to be 9 months from that date. So that it didn't happen. It was about a year. So for those who don't know, like typically your doctors are not really worried until after a year. So they want to know that you have been trying to conceive for at least a year before they escalate it to, you know, specialists or other drugs or things like that. So we didn't even know that. And so after like 6 months, we were like, should we ask what's going on? They're like, no, you got time. We're like, okay.
I don't feel like I have time, but sure, whatever.
Yeah. And that was probably a very frustrating part throughout the whole thing, is that we were, I think, objectively quite young when we started trying. I think it was definitely early 20s. And so we kept hearing from doctors and people, and I think, you know, well-intentioned family or friends, you've got time, you're so young, you know, plenty of time. And so you keep hearing that, and it's actually not very helpful at all, because for us it was, you know, we understand we're young, and we understand there's still years before like the scientific, you know, age where maybe it's going to be even harder to have children before we hit that. But we were ready, you know, so like just respecting and acknowledging that this couple or this person is ready to have a child, wants to have a child. So you're young and you have lots of time isn't actually really good advice or that comforting, because we were ready in that moment when we started.
Well, and every month I feel with a negative pregnancy test must be such a blow, or every month you get your period, right? It's like, are you kidding me? So it might only be 6 months, but that's a long time when you're wanting this, right?
Yeah.
And that weight.
Oh,
and then wait another 6.
The weight, I think, is the hardest, and it's what I actually recommend people I know in my life now who are like, oh, we might, you know, start trying soon. I tell them, you know, when you talk to your doctor, tell them you've already been trying for a year. Like, expedite this, even if you're not going to have issues, because it is that, you know, well, now we have to wait to see if I get my period, and then or, oh, now we've started on, you know, new fertility drugs. but they don't really, you know, it's going to take 3 months for it to, we got to give it 3 months, you know? So it's like every single step that you are in when you have infertility is like, you got to give it 3 to 6 more months. Yeah, and it's just, and then you quickly start to lose that time that people say you had a lot of.
Well, and you know what is for me, when I finally got referred, it took me like 6 months until I even actually got to see the fertility specialist.
Yeah.
So that's so much more time. And then you got to get booked for your ultrasounds, and then that dye test and all that stuff. Like you're saying,
it
adds so many
time.
months. Yeah.
And it is really like this, I think, under, like, it's not spoken about, the like waiting to see if you get your period and then getting your period, like that trauma is like, it's so intense and like devastating. And you just wouldn't think that that's something, you know, growing up or prior to realizing you have infertility is like, you know, you're going to dread looking at your underwear. You know what I mean? You're going to dread seeing if there's like blood down there.
Or every little feeling, like, oh, is that a cramp? Is that this?
Every single thing. And that's also frustrating, is like, you could literally, I felt like every symptom was either a symptom of pregnancy or a symptom of infertility.
Oh, my boobs are sore. That could be pregnancy, or it could be freaking period. Like,
so it's just not helpful.
Yeah,
at all.
So you guys really went through it, though. If I'm recalling correctly, you were going to adopt during the pandemic. The adoption agency closed down. You went on a procreation vacation to do IVF, but that didn't work either, right? So tell us how Miracle Benjamin came to be.
Yeah, it was really crazy. So I do really think that a lot of people who go through infertility, you share a lot of the same, you know, feelings and stories and stuff, but not a lot of people, I think, can say that the adoption agency they were going with shuts down. Like, I think that's pretty rare.
That's unique to you.
And we did not expect that, because it was the longest running adoption agency in Alberta. It'd been around for, and it was just, and we were literally in the middle of like interviews with like, and it was crazy. And then we got an email like, oh, no, we no longer exist. What?
That's crazy. It's just a hard stop. Like,
it was such a hard stop. And I know that there were people that were with the same agency that then, like, the other adoption agencies in the province kind of stepped up and were like, we'll take you. But for us, luckily, we were kind of still earlier phases. You know, you still had invested time and some money, but we definitely weren't like going to be losing as much as some of the other folks at that agency. So for us at that time, we were like, no, we're not gonna try to do this again. Yeah, and then so we've done IUI several times. That's kind of the treatments that's easier and cheaper on your body and your kind of wallet. And they usually recommend it if you're still young. And they say, like, on average, you know, you try IUI 3 times before you move on to IVF. And so again, it's just like more things. It's just more things. So we did IUI, and that one, honestly, I still tell people this story. Like, my first IUI, they had, and like, no shade to medical students, I know you're learning, but like, they had a student lead it, and I'm not kidding you. So I'm propped up on, you know, the bed, and I can't see what's going on down there. And the student says, oops. She says,
no.
Oops.
No.
And I'm like, oops. What? And she's like, oh, nothing. And I'm like,
no.
What do you
gotta
mean?
Tell me.
So literally, like, it didn't work. And so all I could think about was, what did she like drop it on the ground? I don't know. Like, so that was one of our stories.
Boy.
We had so many like moments, that just frustrating moments. We had to change family doctors because our family doctor, he always referred to the same gynecologist. And so we were with this gynecologist for about a year, and we're like, it's not happening. Other people are recommending this other gynecologist. We'll go with them. But we still needed a referral. And the family doctor got so mad at us. And he was like, you're so impatient. You impatient millennials. You just need to wait. And it was crazy.
The millennial card, too?
Yeah. So
I'm going to take my business elsewhere and go eat my avocado toast while my dog plays in our yard. Thank you.
It was
and I read Harry
crazy.
Potter.
Yeah.
And then, yes, anyway, so we did, so lots of failed, everything failed basically. There was a point where I did a surgery. So I did a surgery to see if I had endometriosis. So some people have endometriosis and they have symptoms, but my friend is a gynecologist as well. And at this point we were like 7 years kind of into the journey. And she was like, I wonder if maybe you just are asymptomatic. Maybe you have endometriosis that's affecting it, but you just don't know. I'm like, how do I find out? She's like, well, the only way to find out is to do the surgery. Just to like remove it if you had it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then we did that. And it turned out I did have some endometriosis. And so we thought after that surgery, like, all right, we found it. We know what's the problem. And then that still didn't work. So we did a procreation vacation, is kind of what I fondly call it.
I love the branding.
Yeah, we had to brand it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I should say throughout all of this, we were very open. Probably the first 2 years that we were struggling, we were not open about it. And then it got to this point where it felt very like, you meet up with friends and they're like, what's new? What's going on? And then you're like, oh, it's all good. And you just, you're like, you feel like you're a liar. So about 2 years into the struggle, we started being very open about it, and I started blogging about it and sharing about it on social media. And so then by the time we did the procreation vacation, it was a very like, all right, everyone, come along. As we try to have a baby in Barbados.
And I think we were all, after that trip, holding our breath, waiting for like...
And then on Christmas Eve was when the timing worked out where it was Christmas Eve, and then we found out that we weren't pregnant from that. So that was a pretty rough, that was a pretty rough holiday. But we still had from that IVF in Barbados, we still had a few embryos. And so our plan was to, at that point, because we were kind of coming on that decade mark, we were like, we don't know if we're going to still, keep trying to do this, but we still had a couple embryos. So like, we'll do one more, finish up these embryos. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, maybe children is not for us at that stage. And then we had the second procreation vacation booked. And then the summer, a few months before we were supposed to fly out, I finally didn't get my period. I was like, this is weird. It's been like, but then at that point, you get pretty jaded and like skeptical, right? So I was like,
you're like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not checking. I'm not wasting a pregnancy test on this. It's gotta be like, it's got to be 2 weeks before I check, and then I checked and it said I was pregnant faster than like any other, the previous test we had done. It was like, you're waiting. You're like, oh, it says like 5 minutes. Okay, well, let's wait. We waited 5 minutes. It's wrong. Maybe we didn't wait long enough. And then we like flip it again. But then this one was like, as soon as like, the urine touched it, it was like pregnant. And we were like,
And so that happened naturally, right?
That happened naturally, yeah.
Wow.
So we literally still do not know. And this whole decade, like the doctors kept saying, we don't know, right? We don't know why.
Unexplained.
It was unexplained. So it's 1 in 6 Canadian couples, I believe. They define it as 1 in 6 Canadian couples have infertility. And then an even like, I want to say maybe 1 in 3 would have unexplained. So there's usually a reason. And I don't know if we had a reason, we probably could have, either tried to tackle it or come to terms with it possibly sooner, because there are some, like, people get diagnosed and it's like, oh, actually, you cannot have a child, because we know that your uterus is this, or like your sperm is this. But we never had a reason given to us. So then it's sort of like hopeful, but also crappy in a way, because it's like we don't know what we can fix. Like, what can we try next? But then he came naturally. And I think anecdotally, they don't say this as like a scientific fact, but there is enough, I think, people who go through IVF who are unsuccessful, who then report conceiving naturally after the fact. Like, there's enough people that this happens to but then again, they're like not sure why, like what it is. My guess, and I'm not a doctor. My guess is like, oh, I wonder if the IVF was just like, hey, body, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? Like, this is where this goes.
Yeah.
And then my body was like, oh,
I get it now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But again, I don't. That's really just a guess as to why. Yeah, but he was. So that's why we call him our miracle baby. Because
honestly,
that was literally.
Yeah.
Somehow we were able to have him after trying for a decade unsuccessfully and trying so many different interventions. Yeah.
This might be TMI and we can cut it out if it is, but I recall you posted somewhere that I think you only had sex once and that did the trick. She almost spits out her water.
No, yeah, it was literally like, and so in the early days of trying, it was like, sex every. And
on the clock, right? On the hour, every hour,
that starts to wear you down too, because you're like, oh, this isn't really romantic anymore, and it's work, and it's
schedule.
So yeah, no, it was literally like when we were counting back, like thinking about the months right before I got pregnant, I was like, I'm pretty sure we literally, and I think it must have been because Mike had to be out of town and then I was out of town. So I knew it was like we had sex one time between like our out of town, whatever. And then that somehow took. Yeah.
And you just somehow were ovulating. It was just like the stars aligned.
Literally.
And here he is.
You just can't really explain it. And then now that he's here, Benjamin, I'm always like, I think everything is always easier when you kind of look back, right? It's always like that hindsight. And it's like, of course, when we wanted it. But now that it has happened at the time that it happened, I'm like, yeah, this was the perfect timeline for us.
And bumps along the road.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, and we were, or we joke like, he was waiting, like we were waiting for him, it's like, what I mean?
He was waiting. It was his time. Yeah,
that was his time. Yeah.
So when you decided to open up to a couple years into your journey.
Yes.
What kind of support did you find the most helpful?
Yeah. Good question. I think just being able to talk about it was very helpful. You know what I mean? And just having people not because they know, not ask you, when are you having a baby?
Oh, yeah.
So I think like opening up about it, and a lot of people don't, and a lot of people still don't. I would say increasingly, since over the decade that I've seen, way more people talk about infertility now than they did before. And I just feel like it helps just eliminate some of the pressure. I would say some of the pressure. Because I think everyone has, depending on your family or even like society, it's like, oh, you got married. It's just this thing that people want to blurt out. When are you having kids? Right. Or, oh, you've been married. You've been married for 3 or 4 years now. Like, when's the baby? It's just like a thing that people say. And so I do think that when we started talking about it, it definitely made people reconsider that. Bite their tongue a little bit. And even for me now that I have our child, I find, I have to remind myself, I don't need to ask someone where they're at with, I like, and
it just
it's
becomes
hard.
so culturally normal,
it's
right?
Culturally,
that
it's
even
like,
if we know better, you still want to.
You still want to. It's like, it's just crazy how it just sits on your mouth, like as the next thing that you want to ask.
Well, it's that checklist, so I found that, right?
Yeah, it's the checking.
Yeah.
But so I think that was just a huge relief. It was once we started talking about it, it was like, okay, people aren't asking about that. I also found, honestly, I kept getting invited to baby showers and kids' birthday parties. And so for those first few years, it was like, you could say no, of course. You can always say no, but like depending on your level of friendship with this person, like you just feel like a bad person. So you either go and then you're devastated the whole time and they don't know, or you don't go and you give a fake excuse or something like that and you feel like a bad friend. So being open about it, I think, really made it a lot easier for people to understand when I would say, I love you so much, but I don't think I can be in that environment. And they were like, totally get it. Whereas if you were just like, oh, not feeling well today. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. So we didn't have to do that anymore, which was definitely lifted a burden off our shoulders.
Did you find starting your blog and actually writing about it kind of therapeutic and like helping you through the whole journey?
Yes, 100%. And I think, again, everyone's going to be different. Like I knew someone who also struggled with infertility, and she kind of like poured herself into books. So she like would read every possible like fertility journey type of pregnancy book that you could imagine. And that was really like comforting to her. And and she would recommend me these books. And I'm like, I don't really want to read the books.
Not interested, thanks.
Like, that's not for me. I don't. But yes, I found it very helpful and therapeutic to just write about, this is what I'm frustrated about with the healthcare system, or like, these are the things that we shouldn't do as, random strangers in society when it comes to these things. Or
and what would those things be?
Well, like that's what I mean. Like, asking someone what, when, or why they haven't had a child yet. At one point, Mike even said, some stranger just said that to him. And he said, we've been trying for almost 10 years and we haven't been able to have a baby. And the person was just like, they like didn't know what to say. And it's like, so don't say that. Just don't say it. And I mean, I waffle between, now that I am also a parent, like I get, there are like some hard days or frustrating moments, and like, and I do remember when like my friends with kids would complain about, you know what I mean? You're like, I wish I just had time to myself, or things like that. And I remember thinking, when we were still struggling, I was like, at least you have, you know what I mean?
You wish you could have that problem kind of thing.
Yeah, I wish I could have that problem. So things like that.
Just
and
be
honestly,
a bit more mindful.
It's just the mindfulness, because I think most people don't mean anything really in like an ill-intentioned way. It's just like just pause to think about whether or not that's even something that
needs to come out of your mouth
to bring up. And honestly, if the person, if the person offers the information, then let's talk about it. But if they haven't offered it, then it's kind of none of your business.
So I have a question though. So for me, if a friend of mine was going through infertility, we meet for lunch, it's been happening for a while now. Is that something I bring up? Hey, how is everything going? Or do I wait for them to broach the subject?
I think you wait for them to broach the subject, but I think there's ways that you can do it more subtly now. So like, I am on social media a lot. and
we love that about you.
Yeah. There's so many resources now. There's so many great resources. So someone actually asked me this question recently. Like, they said, I just found out that my friend has been struggling with infertility. And they were wondering how can I support them? And I'm like, so this is maybe slightly different from yours because they haven't actually offered the information yet. But, I was like, oh, you should. Oh, my cat's, oh, you don't see her. She's so cute. Look at my cat. This is
we love her, yes.
I should say he's our miracle baby, but we had five kids before him.
Little fur babies.
So like, as the friend, I think even if you're not struggling with infertility, you should be following, the Reproductive Center's Instagram account. You can follow, the fertility advocacy group on Facebook or whatever. Like, all of these, they all exist, and then they all share these great resources or advice, or that's how you're going to know, like, oh, Canadian Fertility Awareness Week is coming up. I wouldn't have known that. So even if you start, I think that's also for yours. Like, if your friend hasn't offered this information and maybe you think that she is struggling, like, if you just start to share, like, it doesn't just need to be people that are struggling with infertility sharing about infertility. Like, as you as a woman, as a person, like, oh yeah, I'm going to share this thing about on Mother's Day, Mother's Day is very challenging for people. And here's this nice graphic that kind of acknowledges all the different types of motherhood or paths to motherhood. I'm just going to share that casually on my story. And I think that's a really subtle but a really helpful way to then, your friend, is hopefully if she likes looking at your stuff, she's going to see, that's really nice that Jessica posted, something like that. Or, I've never talked about that with Heather before, but wow, so like even something like that, like the subtle ways that you can kind of like incorporate it. Or if you're like, hey, did you see, that plot, because I think in pop culture, increasingly there's more plots about infertility and different paths to parenthood, but just bringing up something like that. I saw this great video about this and I'd never thought about it before. So it doesn't have to be like is this something that you're dealing with? But it can be like I thought this was really interesting. I think more people should know about it. And then in that way, they start to see you as hopefully like, that is a safe, that's a safe space where I can talk about these things when I'm ready. And the reality is that some, your friends, sometimes they might not ever be ready, to talk about it or to tell you that. But I think like showing subtly or in different ways that you are, I want to, I support this topic or these women who are struggling in this way, can kind of get them maybe closer. And if not openly talking to you about it, at least that, hey, they feel supported anyways.
So say you and I, Linda, met for lunch one day randomly. We don't see each other often, but I feel like when we do, we catch up. But would it be off the table for me as you, somebody who was sharing, say like this is pre-Benjamin if we met for lunch?
Yes.
Is that offside for me to be like, hey, how is everything going? How are you coping with everything? Or do you have to bring that up?
No, I think if I've already been open about it, I think then that's fair game. I would say that that's fair game to talk about it for sure. There might be like more natural ways for it to come up. And even if you just said, hey, like, so like what's new, like that, they just might say, well, now I've gone and done this, procedure or this treatment. But I feel like if the person has already been open about it, then that's totally okay for you to bring that up. And I mean, I would say this is one person's experience or opinion, so everyone might be a little different. But
Heather, what's your take on that? Do I bring it up first to check in, or do I wait for you to bring it up?
Yeah, I think obviously the important part is how open I've been about it in the past, kind of thing. Like if I've talked to you about it before, then sure. But the one thing I think is important to remember as well is I think if you ask the question, but don't expect me to maybe fully dive into it, because it could be at a time where if I'm going to talk about it, I might start sobbing. So maybe I'm not ready to be crying.
That's what makes me weary is I know it's a very sensitive subject for many people, right? So I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, or maybe you're drained about talking about it or thinking about it or dealing with it, right? So that's why
I totally think that with you wording it more of like like Linda said, what's new, or, because you don't have to exactly be like, how was your fertility journey? Because it's
did you see the gynecologist yet? Yeah, you don't have to very specifically. Literally the day before I had said, I had a terrible time with my gynecologist.
I think just open it up so that there's the option to talk about it if they want to. It's just the question of like, hey, how are you? How have things been with you lately? And I'm sure the first thing that's going to pop in someone who's going through infertility issues in their head is going to be that. And then that will either be like, well,
I need to
don't dive into it.
Yes.
Give an update or don't. Yeah.
Or it's,
that's fair.
I'll give a brief one, or I'll just avoid it completely. And then it's like, okay, we're not talking about it right now. And then don't be offended, because honestly, if I wasn't talking about it, it was probably because I was going to start crying. And I just was like, I don't want to cry again.
I think the not making it about, as the friend, not making it about yourself and your feelings. And wherever they're at. Because I've done that too. I've been like, I don't really want to talk about it right now. Yeah. I know I've been open, but in this moment, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, which is why I asked that question, right? Because
it's a great question.
I actually got in shit with somebody because I wasn't inquiring about it. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
That's really tough.
That's fair.
Right? So, sorry. I'm just trying to like be respectful of your boundaries and your feelings, right? So
I think, yeah. I mean, I think it's also, again, depends on the relationship that you have with this person. But like before the lunch, I feel like it's very fair if you are aware that they have been struggling or that they've talked about it. I think you can do it like a pretext, like, hey, like, let me know, like, I'd love to, like, is this, let me know if you're feeling like you want to talk about this, or we can avoid it completely. Like, I think you can have that kind of as like a disclaimer or like a preamble thing.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I wouldn't like, I mean,
and I think
obviously everybody's different, but
everyone's going to be different.
And as the supportive friend, just don't take offense to anything. Honestly, like Linda meant saying that it was getting hard to go to baby showers, and it has nothing to do with like you're not happy or excited for or really happy for them, but like you could have just received some really bad news and then you couldn't attend that at the ability that you would like to, and be that supportive friend that you would want to be. And so, don't take that personally as the friend who is having the baby shower.
And I honestly, I still, now that I've had Benjamin, I do actually look back on some of the friends that had kids before me, and then I was open about infertility and struggling. So it was very clear, like in our friend situation, it was like, they like intentionally, I'm not talking about my kid with you, like I know that's hard. So now when I look back, I'm like, ever since I've had him, I'm like, he's like the only thing I want to talk about with anyone. I know. And then so it makes me think about, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, you kind of like, now I felt like I was probably I would be considered a bad friend during that time because I didn't really check in on them as new parents. I didn't really ask them for information about their children. So it's sort of this tricky,
it is.
And I've talked about it with some of them since then. They're like, no, like obviously you were going through what you were going through.
That's nice that you acknowledge that though, right?
Yeah, I thought it was important because and it was really because I'm like meeting up with friends after I had him, and I'm like, how does anyone talk about anything that isn't their baby?
What else do you got going on though, really? Yeah.
I do think, I think just either side communicating, what their current needs are or where their level currently is at or capacity, I would say, I think is sort of the best is when, and I think I've said recently, actually, I have a friend who I have a few now because the society with, the world the way it is, I have several friends who are childless by choice. And one of them, we just never brought it up before. And I think, I was waiting for like my in, so I would never bring it up. You know what I mean? And she mentioned something it was so small and casual, but I was like, oh, so we've never talked about this. But just to be clear, like you guys, you don't want kids, right? And they're like, yeah, we don't want kids. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I know.
Yes. But, now I know how to proceed.
Yes. But,
which is huge. That's good. Yeah. I like your point about communicating on both sides because I think that's really important. Communication can sometimes be underrated. So let's not forget.
100%. And I think almost all of life's problems could be solved if everyone just like said what they were feeling. There would be no plots in movies or TV shows.
You're right.
But
it's so true. Yeah, I'm feeling hurt by the comment. Sorry, nobody says that.
Yeah, no one ever says that. Or like, oh, he probably thinks this. Well, why don't you ask him what he thinks?
Do you think this? Yeah.
But,
good point.
But my one friend who was childless by choice, I think if I was giving her constructive feedback, I would be like, hey, as a longtime close friend, like, it'd be great if you could have just said, by the way, we've never talked about it. I don't want kids. Just to like
slipped it into conversation.
Yeah, just you know what I mean. Just get it done and
totally
we can move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. Okay, well, Linda, we won't hold you up for too much longer. Is there anything else that you want to add to this conversation before we let you go?
I think just from a friendship perspective, I really do value the check-ins, the not getting mad at someone, if they're maybe not performing in a way that you expect in a friendship, if they're dealing with infertility. And honestly, my big kind of health advocacy thing is that thing that I mentioned at the beginning is Like it's so, like I hate that I had to say that, but it's like no, you need to
Cheat
lie.
the system a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to. The system is not built for you, so you have to be like, no, I've tried this. Like, get me straight to the fertility clinic or whatever.
Yeah.
That may be, but yeah, because yeah, I mean, there's great doctors and there's great healthcare workers, but it's just what we're taught is not what is like actually reality and what actually happens. So I think you really have to take that healthcare knowledge and advocacy into your own hands, and that is one way as a friend that you can support as well. Is like, oh, if maybe they have revealed that they've been trying, it's like maybe you can now, like my friend who suggested that I might have asymptomatic endometriosis.
Right.
I would never have thought that, and so just to even bring something like that up, even if I would have been like shutting it down or I would have been like, no, that's not it, it's like, oh, that's it, but thank you, thanks for thinking of, or thanks for like trying, thanks for trying, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. And very well said. Thank you. If people want to follow along your journey and read more about your infertility journey, what's your website and your Instagram and socials?
Yeah, so follow me at Lindork, and then on my website I have an unexplained infertility sort of tab, linda-hoang.com, HOANG.com, that you can browse through, and then so I have the unexplained infertility, and then now I've switched over, now I have parenthood.
Love it. Yes, I love that for you though. That's the ultimate win. Yeah.
Yeah.
So great.
That's amazing. Okay, well, Linda, thank you so much. So nice to see you again.
Thank you so much for having this conversation. I really do think that the more open we are about infertility, it's normalized, and then it's, no less pressure, and everyone hopefully feels a little bit better about it.
Agreed.
For sure. And we appreciate you being so open.
And that was Linda Hoang. Again, Linda, thank you so much for coming on. Quite the story, Heather. 10 years.
I know. I can't even imagine.
How long was your journey?
I don't remember.
Maybe you blocked it out.
Yeah, I have 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, long enough.
Yeah. Feels like longer when you're in it. Way longer. So I can't even imagine a decade.
So we're going to hear from Ruth, my sister-in-law, next. I remember when she started trying, and yeah, I was very immersed in her journey, just being her sister-in-law, and we're pretty close, so she confided in me a lot. Oh my gosh, when she told the family that she was pregnant, so she did IVF, and she'll talk about that in her clip, but she actually misled the family and told us that her IVF date was later than it was because she didn't want all the questions. So they actually did IVF in secret. And then we thought it was coming up in like a week.
Yeah.
But that was the night she dropped the
No
news
way.
that they were expecting. And it was just like the surprise of a lifetime. I love a good surprise, and this was the ultimate. So
that's so cute. So you mean it wasn't just a text saying, I'm pregnant and going to Victoria?
It was a little more celebratory than
pizzazz.
that. A little bit. She actually got the girls and her son matching shirts and a romper or a little onesie. So we should actually get them in that. That'd be pretty cute. But anyways, here is my lovely sister-in-law, Ruth, with her story. Ruth, thank you so much for joining us today. My sister-in-law, my favorite sister-in-law, can I say? Because you're my only sister-in-law. Safe.
Yes.
So, yes, we are bringing that feminine energy to the Allen household. Our husbands are both brothers. There's 3 brothers in that family. So we are bringing the female vibes to that family.
Sure.
So Ruth, happy to have you as one of the gals here today.
Me.
And yes, we are talking about infertility today, but yours is a success story. You have brought little baby Rowan in the family, and oh my God, Heather, he is cute as a button. And like, I know everybody says that, but his face, I swear to God, it's so angelic. It's so cute.
And he's
a
so
really
hair.
he's a lot of hair. He's like a little hedgehog, as you say. Ruth, tell us how life with a 4-month-old is going. Would you have any wins or losses this week?
So it's been going good. Like the first couple months, what am I doing? First time mom, what's happening? So many emotions, so many hormones. But it's going pretty good now that we are getting sleep. So that leads me to my win this week. So yesterday, Jessica was there too. We were having a little family dinner, and the girls, meaning Jessica's girls, were yelling, screaming, having fun.
They were nuts last
thing.
night. They were crazy.
Full of it. Yeah.
They were just like wired up, which is
Emmy was
perfect.
doing things like she's never done before, just because
Yes.
I think she thought would be hysterical, and I had to tell them both. I was like,
Yeah.
calm down. It is time
I know
to
those
settle
nights. Yeah.
down. I'm just like, this is like people are, I think, are starting to get annoyed with them. So, anyways, little
Yeah,
Rowan,
they
sweet
reach
little Rowan,
another level
Yeah.
sometimes.
another
Yes,
level.
yeah.
Just happy summer gals. But yeah, I'm shocked he could sleep
Yeah.
with.
So
them
yeah,
screaming.
that's the win. Like he slept through it, and I think it's just because I'm so used to putting him to bed at a certain time that I didn't. Like I wasn't home. I was like, you know what? Let's try it. We're going on vacation. Let's see if
Yeah.
he can handle it. And he slept through the screaming, the yelling, just the fun that they were having.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, okay. And then we got home and we put him into his sleep sack and he went to bed. He
Oh
slept
my
for
gosh.
3
Good.
hours and then he
my
got
gosh.
up and then he slept for another 3 and then like straight into the night. So perfect.
Oh, the fear is always that it's like a mini nap or something, and then
Yeah.
they're up forever instead of
Yes.
just like the simple transfer to the bed.
Yes. Which I know was like, oh please. We
The
were walking
anxiety
back.
that gave me.
We were walking back and I'm like, I think we just take his pants off. Because
Yeah.
he's wearing pants and a bodysuit, and I just said, leave the bodysuit on and just
Good call.
take the pants off.
Don't do a change.
Don't do too
pajama
much.
Change.
Just
Yeah.
put him
Don't
in.
risk
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rowan, he's a wonderful addition to the family.
He
We're so
is.
we're so happy to have him. But speaking of Ruth,
Oh, yes.
it was a bit of a rocky road to conception.
Yes.
Can you tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about your story?
Yeah, so we got married in 2021, and I previously knew that I had endometriosis. I didn't know the like extent of it, but yeah, 2021, and we were like waiting for a few months, and we thought maybe around Christmas that year we'll try. Tried for a full year, and nothing really happened. So I was like, okay, we'll go into our fertility doctor. Go into the fertility doctor, they get all of our tests and everything that we need to do, like blood tests and everything. And they're like, yeah, everything seems fine. So it's unexplained infertility. So I said,
Awesome.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
frustrating.
Exactly what you want to hear.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean? Unexplained. But they're like, there's just no reason why you're not getting pregnant. I was like, okay. So they did know that I had endometriosis. So they did more testing and scans. And I did an HCG test where they flush your tubes with a dye.
Yeah.
Extremely painful.
Yes.
Like super
I had
painful.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Actually, I'm just linking this. I think, Ruth, before you got it done, Heather, I knew that you had got it done. So I was getting advice from Heather
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
to tell to Ruth. And here we
Yeah.
are full circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I-
it was not pleasant at all.
I honestly found it more painful than my contractions.
Actions.
Yeah, I was like
I still remember that
writhing
pain.
on,
Yeah.
and then I remember the guy being like, "Stay still, we're not
Yes,
done."
yeah,
I'm like, I don't know
yeah.
how else to not
I know.
move.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I do
Yeah.
not recommend that. Yeah.
Infertility. Anyway,
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people down there.
Yeah.
But yes. So there's there's a radiologist that is right there, and they tell you, and he saw something. So then we went back to our fertility specialist, and she said I had a cyst.
God, I'm so sorry.
Is it a toy?
We have a birthday
something on his
bear
head?
who is we have a birthday bear who is trying to get me to play tug of war with him
Oh my god.
Right now.
right now.
Griswold.
Grizzy, I can't, literally now is not the time.
Oh no. Now it started.
Go outside. Go outside.
If it's not kids, it's dogs.
Yeah. I don't have a dog, so.
Oh. Yeah, it's probably, honestly, it's for the better. We were talking in
Yeah.
another episode about how your poor
It's a
dog gets
lot.
neglected
Oh my
once you
God.
have kids.
Yeah.
So sorry, as Ruth's talking about her cyst. My God.
We can laugh about it now.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Jesus. Okay. So,
Yeah, so they
start that sentence
determined-
over.
It's okay. So they determined that there was a cyst, and as well as a polyp. So they had to go in and do a procedure. So because there was a cyst, it was slightly abnormal. I had to get put under. And so they took it out. They took pictures and stuff, which is amazing. And so I could actually see my endometriosis. And so
crazy.
So she said that on my right side that my ovary was kind of like stuck to my pelvic wall, and I had endometriosis all over it. So she tried to catheterize as much of it as possible, but you can't really do much. I guess that's how bad it was. So, which explains why my period was always so wonky 1 month. So, like, at least every other month. So,
I'm sorry to interrupt. Could you give me, or just give like a super quick explanation of endometriosis?
Yeah. So, endometriosis, how I was explained, was it's basically when your uterus or your endometrial lining is implanting somewhere where it's not supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
So,
Right.
like,
I remember
instead
learning
of-
about this.
Yeah. So instead of like having it flush out, it like implants itself, and it can implant anywhere. Like I know a friend's friend that she has it like in her like abdomen, like in her like upper
Crazy.
abdomen. Yeah.
So is it
And-
supposed to flush out when you have your period?
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So then it like implants itself. So mine was a lot on my like right ovary. So so that was like interfering obviously with releasing the egg and everything. So but yeah, so they did that, and then she actually told me in our check that she did for my stitches and stuff that I'm a good candidate for IVF. So to hear that, I was like kind of shocked, like, wow, like I never thought this was going to be the road that we would have to go down. But okay, so we took some time, thought about it, and we actually decided to try IUI first. So we did 2 rounds of IUI with no success. So then we thought, okay, we have a vacation coming up. Let's go on this vacation. It's a family vacation. And let's just do everything that we want to do. If we want to go here, eat whatever we want to eat, travel, and like see whatever we want to see, and just do it all. Because then
Was
when
this
we get
when we went to
back,
California?
yeah.
Okay.
And then when we get back, we're going to start the IVF process. And like, obviously, we're not going to be able to do all the things that, like going for runs together, going for bike rides together. Like, I didn't feel so good while I was going through the whole process of IVF. Like, you're shooting yourself with hormones, like,
Daily.
every day. Yeah. And then, so we got back, we started the process, and then the fertility clinic that I went to in Edmonton was great. I know some people have like mixed feelings about it, but my experience there was great. The doctors were great, the nurses were great. And then you do your rounds, you do your medication and everything and your injections, and then they look and see how many follicles you have and how many eggs you have, and then they retrieve them in a procedure. And then it's so wild. I was telling Jessica about this. They give you updates like on how many eggs you have, or how many embryos, fertilized eggs you have. And then they just keep giving you progress. Oh, this one is like 100 cells, and this one's like 50 cells. And like, so we had 13 that we had retrieved, and that had fertilized, I think it was 10. So they say
cool.
each day that like progresses, it's going to drop. So I think a healthy number is like 2 or 3 to get, like, if you at the end of the cycle or the procedure. So so we have 1 obviously, and then we have another one that's freezing. So it worked out great. And there's always that like uncertainty of like, is it going to work? Like there's so many things that are rushing through your mind, but he's here, he's healthy. So that's a little
Adorable.
bit about, yeah, he's super sweet.
So Ruth, you are just such a positive person overall, and you stayed so positive about this on the exterior. But
Yes,
let's dig a little deeper.
yeah.
How were you really feeling when you went through this? And I guess we really want to tap into what is helpful support. How can people be helpful when you're going through a situation like this?
Right. Yeah. So I did a lot of therapy actually, just to like kind of release some of the emotions that I was having at the initial like startle of like, oh my God, like I have infertility and now I have to do IVF. Like, what? So yeah, I went to therapy and she's really helped me like tap into like that emotional side and just get it out and talk about it. And she gave me some coping techniques and stuff, like blocking people off of social media that really are not doing much. Yeah, like super triggering to you. Like obviously baby announcements, because I have a lot of friends that are also, you know, trying to have kids and are having kids, like no problem. Happy for them, obviously. And like, I think just like also educating myself in like what's actually going to be happening made me feel a lot better too. Like, okay, I'm going to be taking this medication. What does this medication do? How am I going to react to it? Obviously staying positive and like going on that track too. Like, and having a really supportive partner is a huge part of it too. Like he was there like the whole time shooting me with the shots. Shooting. He called me his nurse for a lot. He's like, oh, your nurse is here to give you your... I was like,
Oh, that's so cute.
oh my God. Because even after you do the transfer, you have to do more medication, like orally, actually vaginally, as well as injections. So it's like they don't stop daily. Yeah, it was rough, and like you had to do it in like a specific spot, and if you didn't do it, it would like.
And isn't the time of day like you have to do it at the same time, and like
timing is so important. Yeah.
Otherwise, it like ruins the whole process.
And then you have to like there was one time we went to. That was last year for my birthday actually, and it was right after we had done the transfer, and I had to take a specific medication and like an injection, and I forgot the injection at home.
Oh God, the panic.
And we're calling pharmacies in Canmore, in Calgary.
Oh yeah,
like I need this medication. Like, can you? And somebody had to make it. We had to drive to Calgary, pick up the medication, and then obviously he had to find somewhere to just like shoot me with it.
Oh my God.
With the beautiful mountain view in the background.
Yeah, so like at least we're somewhere pretty, I guess. But yeah, so yeah, lots of therapy, really taking time for myself and doing things that I really enjoyed to do, like working out, yoga, playing soccer, hanging out with family members and friends, and then like what people can do. For me, like one of my really good friends, she had like issues getting pregnant, or issues prior. She also has endometriosis, but she had kids super quick, like very quick. So like our stories are similar, but obviously hers were different, right? Different road. But she actually texted me, and it was like such a nice text about her being pregnant. Like she was going to announce her pregnancy on New Year's Eve, and she canceled because she knew that how it could affect me. And like, she's like, I just didn't think that it should be like something to throw in your face when you're going through all of this stuff. So she texted me, and it was a great text. The way she worded it was like, your journey is on a different path than my journey, but I'm so happy for you. And it was a great text. And she's, as well as everybody else, has like been super supportive of our journey, because it is so different than theirs, right? But yeah, I think just taking the time and like listening to somebody's struggles with infertility, I think is huge, just a huge helper, like in just trying to listen to their like emotions that they're going through, and if they're having a bad day, or if, because it just is a roller coaster. There's so many highs, there's lows, and the unknown. So
and so many extra hormones.
And
Yes,
and that
true.
too. Yeah.
What what were, and I know it's probably different for everybody, but what were your thoughts on, like, how open were you with it? Like, were you comfortable if people asked you about it, or is it better to just wait till someone brings it up? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
I think if somebody were, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because I think like such a common question, especially if you're married and you don't have kids, people just so like carelessly ask, when are you going to have kids? Why don't you have kids yet? When is this happening? So I don't know, just like kind of curious on your thoughts on that part of it.
So actually we never had people asking us that.
Oh, finally.
Oh, wow.
That's so good.
Not real, like maybe one auntie, like that's about it.
Jess?
But
no, just kidding.
no.
Me every day.
Yeah, I guess one of your aunts,
Yeah, one of my aunts. But yeah, I think like she just asked once, but really, and then we were just like, yeah, like, you know, it's just a little bit harder for us, but we're trying, and then just kind of like left it to the side. But
I like that honest answer.
yeah, we're trying, and then that it is what it is, right? Like, and then now that he's here, they're like, oh, like you really had some issues. I'm like, yeah, like happy to share what we were going through. And then when you would tell people, they're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know, like, you know, and I was open with it, but only if somebody were to like inquire about it. Like, oh, like, do you want kids? Like that question. Yeah, I do.
Right.
Like, you know, it's just been a bit of a journey for us, but we're going to get there. I think that's the other part, like staying positive and knowing that you will get there, and like saying to myself, like, it'll happen for us. It's just, we're on a different journey. Yeah.
So as a friend who's trying to support you, for example, or Heather going through this, I want to obviously stay interested and up to date with your lives, but like I personally didn't know how often I should be asking, and if it's something that you even wanted to talk about all the time, right? So I don't know, for me, if somebody doesn't bring it up all that often, maybe they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
How do we know? I guess, is it unique?
I think so. But I think it depends on the relationship. Like with me and you, Jessica, like we talked about it. I would bring it up to you, or you would ask, like, oh, like, how did that appointment go? Oh, great. Like, you check in. And that was super helpful and, like, made me process it as well. But yeah, I think it really depends on the person, really. Like, family members for sure. Like, we updated them. Like, I would update my mom and our family. But yeah, I really just think it's the person and how they approach it. Yeah. Heather,
Yeah, I know
if that's with you too.
Yeah, I would say it's tough too because timing, right? Like sometimes if you get a text from someone you just received bad news, it's like maybe you're not ready to talk about it yet, but you will be. So I think what the kind of text that I think I would have liked to receive would have been ones along the lines of like, just checking in. I know how things are going. If you want to talk about it, let's go. Or I hope things are going well. Or you know, like just basically just a mental check. Or like a wellness check. Not like that serious, but you know what I mean. Just a check in, and with the option to respond or not, if that makes sense. Just
leaving it
being like, I'm
open-ended.
here if you want to talk. Yes, and
So
that
you
way
could either
you don't
say
feel
thank you or
Exactly.
get into the details.
And you don't feel that pressure to have to explain it to the person that you know is just checking in on you because they care, they want to know how you're doing, but maybe it's just right now isn't the time I wanted to talk about it, and they were just having that option to just be like, thanks, I really appreciate that, I'll update you about it tomorrow or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So, because you just never know when you're going to catch the person, what's going on in the whole journey.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
is, like you said, it is so many highs and lows throughout the entire thing.
I know. And then like with the hormones, like you can get very snappy if you're having low. Yeah.
Oh God, I don't
No,
miss.
I agree.
Ruth, was there anything that people said to you that you just put a mental note, you're like, please never say that to me again?
Yes. Yeah. We had a couple tell us that they were pregnant at a restaurant, and they were telling us, they're like, oh, we thought you were also going to tell us that you were expecting. And I was like, what?
That's a dagger. Yeah.
No. I was like, oh, no, sorry. No news for you.
And then
Yeah.
did you tell them, like, open up what you were going through, or did you just kind of leave it at that?
No, then I did, yeah. And they were horrified that they said that.
I can imagine they were horrified.
They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like,
Actually, no, quite the opposite.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, you know what? They didn't know. It's okay. Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah,
I think that's, I mean, I personally haven't gone through it, but I can imagine that it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, no, I don't know. I can just imagine it's one of those things where you just, I don't know, maybe want to distance yourself, like you said, a little bit from some people. And
I did
You, like,
the
know the
social
core
media
people.
thing too.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I removed the social media apps from my main screen because it just became such a habit to open my phone, click Instagram, and it was like every other story or Instagram post was a baby announcement or a birthday or and it was just like soul crushing.
Yeah.
So I was like,
feel like
I'm just gonna move that.
Yeah, and I feel like the algorithm like also was messing with me too.
Yeah.
It would just constantly show me like baby names, like, oh, cute baby names, or like birth announcements and like different ideas and stuff, and I'm like, no, just delete. Yeah.
Yeah. Read the room.
Yeah, come
Instagram.
on.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or just mute people. Like, I've muted a few people and not realized it, and they have like 3 kids now. I'm like, oh, whoops.
Oh wow. They've been busy.
You can come back now.
Yeah.
Unmute you.
Ruth, I thought when you did your baby announcement, your post was so amazing. Just the way you worded his birth. It was just so sensitive to so many others who you may or may not know who's going through it, right? I thought you absolutely nailed it. And Heather Ruth actually opened up a little bit about what she was going through.
On Mother's Day, yes.
Oh, you did?
On my first Mother's Day, yeah. I just put like some photos, like first Mother's Day. I didn't know that if I would ever get to celebrate Mother's Day, so I really want to take it in and like look back at how long this journey has been. And I know some people, it's
You're making me
years and years.
I know, right? That was the first thing I saw when I woke up. I was just like bawling. I was like, it's too early for tears on Mother's Day.
It took me so long. It took me so long to write that because I was just like, just every time. And I'm like asking my husband, Paul, like, does this sound too? And he's like, no, that's perfect.
It was perfect.
Okay, great. Yeah.
I think that it's really important you did that though, because I found like even in the last few years, people are starting to talk more about it, whereas I feel like no one talked about it before, and it is a very isolating experience, even though a lot of people go through it.
Yeah. They say like 1 out of 6 women go through infertility.
I feel like it's more. It has to be more.
Yeah. Now, I feel like more women now are going through it than before.
I feel like I know more people who have needed help with their fertility journey than haven't.
Same. Yes. That's why I don't believe the 1 in 6 stat. Like, what is that from 1990? Like, no, it can't be.
Exactly. Yeah.
It can't be new.
No.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Yeah. So that's really great that you did that.
Yeah, and like my brother has also experienced a really big loss. So I wanted to be very mindful of him too. So and my sister-in-law too. So I'm on social media, I look around, but like I don't really blast them out. Like I don't really like show him a lot. Like I do occasionally show him, but I told myself, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And I just, for some reason, I just feel like I don't want to hurt other people's feelings.
You're really
by
mindful.
putting him on there. But at the same time, I'm like, and I think I had a hard time during pregnancy with that. Like, I want to show that, like, I'm actually enjoying my pregnancy. Like, I loved being pregnant. The labor was a whole different story, but but I loved being pregnant. Yeah. And I felt like, I was telling Jessica, like, I felt more beautiful being pregnant than I did on my wedding day. Like,
oh my God, that's
it was
so
great.
lovely.
It was, I felt like like I was like, oh wow, this is the pregnancy glow. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can eat
It's an
whatever
internal
you want.
thing. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was great. And then, so I just didn't want to like show it, but I did want to show it.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
show that I am happy and like, but yeah, I just like maybe tapered down a little bit on
For me,
I shared.
I feel like when I know people have gone through struggles and they are enjoying their baby or their pregnancy, go for
Just
it.
show it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you went through the hardships.
Exactly,
This is your
yeah.
prize. You show it off.
Yeah. And
I
now
don't know. That's just my take on it. But
yeah. Now I definitely do. Like his 1 month, his 2 month, like people are so like aesthetic with how they do it, and I'm just like, he's right there. This is the only time. Like,
I know. I was so bad. I just shoved my kid in a
Same.
chair with a stuffed animal.
yeah,
like,
same.
1 month. Yeah.
And he's like barely sitting, he's like leaning over. Yeah.
I know. I remember holding her up and being like, okay, 1, 2, 3, snap. And throw her again. Okay, got it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I was one of those aesthetic people where I'm like, every
She
picture
was.
has
You're
to look
good
the
at that, though.
same.
Yeah. Yes.
You have the patience to
Yes.
do that stuff.
I
Like I, get
like it.
anxiety.
I enjoy it.
thinking
I'm like
about
setting,
that.
I'm making the little set.
You like
and like
exactly. You like the like artistic side of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, put. A couple
I'm having this
like-
for the memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
exactly.
enjoy it, and you
do.
like think to do those things. I stress about it and then forget about it and then feel bad that I didn't do it. So I try to keep it simple by
Yeah.
just putting them in a chair. Chloe
Because
doesn't
you
have
know
any
you'll
of
do
them.
it if it's simple. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just keep it as low key as I can.
as possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Well, Ruth, thank you so much for coming on. Is there, you know what? Actually, I do want to ask. So your husband, Paul, my dear brother-in-law, how do you think this whole process was for him? Was there anything that really got him? Were people saying anything, or was it just more or less he was your rock at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, he was just like very supportive. Like, I don't know how people do it without a support person. That's just like there for you all the time. Yeah, he was just like my rock, and I mean, still is during postpartum. But yeah, he helped with like managing the medications because there's so many. Sometimes I'd like forget, setting up all my medications reminders on my phone, like when to take everything, and like with work and stuff, you kind of be like, oh right, I have to do that, and yeah, he was setting up the appointments, taking me to all my appointments, taking time off work to take me to my appointments and surgeries and picking me
That's
up. And
great.
Yeah.
It must.
Yes,
You know, it must be hard on the husband though too, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Emotionally and mentally,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. And I told him, like, tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm good. Like, don't worry about me.
I can imagine that. Just
Yeah,
speaking
goodbye.
from like,
Yeah.
from what my husband has told me, I think when they can feel like they're a part of it and like helping and like have something that they can do,
Yeah.
I think it makes them feel a bit better because
Oh, yeah.
otherwise they just have to like, what are they going to do? Just like sit back and watch you be upset.
Yeah.
So I think they feel better
Yeah.
if they're like, I'm coming with you. I'll give you
Yeah,
injections.
exactly.
We can do this
Yeah.
together,
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It totally is. That's exactly it. Yeah.
which is
And
good.
how has postpartum been for you? Just like how have you been feeling? We know how Rowan's doing. How are
Yeah.
you doing?
I'm doing good. I would say the worst was like the 3 days, 4 days, whatever I spent after in the hospital. And then like, yeah, just getting used to that routine and getting texts from people saying like, this is just a phase. Like it's going to be over soon. Just get through this and then it'll be, and being able to call on my mom, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, anybody, like bringing food and like checking in, like it was great. I don't know how, like I said, how people do it without a big support system.
It takes a village.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
It does. And like I never knew what that was like before. I'm like, okay, yeah, they say, oh no, it really does. It
does.
really does, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Ruth, thank you so much. I know it's
Yeah,
not
of course.
easy to talk about and relive,
No.
but
But it helps people, so
yeah, we
It
really
does.
appreciate it. Thank you.
of course, no problem.
Thank you so much, Ruth. I know it's not hard to relive that and open up, but to your point, Linda's point, and Ruth's point, the more we talk about it, the more we normalize it. So thank you, ladies, so much for doing that. Heather, I guess it's time to wrap up the show. So take it away.
All right.
It's your favorite thing to do.
Every time I'll do my best. I should just write this out. Like, why do I try and get myself to remember this every
Because
time?
we have mom brains and
Yeah.
we need to, this is a brain workout for us.
Yeah. I need to stretch my brain.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you liked our episodes and our show, please give us a follow. We are on Instagram at Just Us Gals Podcast,
Woohoo.
which is also the username for our TikTok account if you want to follow there. We are on YouTube as well if you want to see our lovely faces and some of the actions that we do while recording. That
The
you
graph
might not
going
see.
up, the graph going flat.
Exactly. Just a little added extra element for you. And please like, comment, share, favorite, whatever you can do to help keep this thing going.
Yeah, we love doing this and we want to keep going. It's fun. It's
And
fun
if you want to come on the podcast, if you have a good story and you want to share it, we would love to have you on.
I love that. And honestly, even if you just want to chat, send us an email or sneak into our DMs. If you have an infertility story, we'd love to hear it. Or just if you know some badass super moms who think would be awesome for the show, we want to hear that too. So
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Thanks.
yeah. Okay. Thanks, Heather. Bye.
Bye.